It's Kurre and Klapow.
Whether you up north of Gardendale or down south past Vestavia, turn up your sound and listen well, cause we got something to say to you. Kurre and Klapow, they in the know, their topics cover A to Z. So whether you drive fast or slow, just sit on back and feel the beat. Oh no! It's Kurre and Klapow.
You'll have to excuse me, I just posted a picture on Twitter and one on Facebook. The Me Too movement hit the Kurre household last night in full force. I ain't kidding you now. I always thought that went for like women, who are adults. No. This is what happens when you tickle your 9-year-old and she says stop and you don't. I posted a picture a few minutes ago. I got a shiner this morning. I had a business meeting yesterday. A dude's looking at me going, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, fine. What's going on?" He's like, "What the hell happened to your eyeball?" I don't know. Hey, you know what it is today? It's Friday. It means it's Damon Johnson Friday at noon and 8 today. You have 2 shots to be listening to the Damon Johnson Show. We're playing Dolly Parton today. I love this. Top 6 acts he believes should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that aren't. We'll get to that show at noon and 8. And don't forget, next Friday, I am so excited about this. It's Damon Johnson's Rockin' Christmas Eve special. You know, the Dick Clark thing went on for like 75 years. We're doing the first ever Damon Johnson Rockin' New Year's Eve party, or Christmas party, should I say. Then we may do a New Year's Eve party, too, because that also falls on the 31st. But that's going to be going on next week. And for all you folks out there who love Christmas music, and I do, too. I listen to Magic, and I hear all the Christmas tunes. I love the Frank Sinatra, the Dean Martin, and the Bing Crosby. I love all that stuff. But you just don't hear great classic rock Christmas music anymore. And, man, Father Christmas, the Crash Test Dummies, there's stuff out there from Bob Seger, the Little Drum. There's so many great classics. Bruce Springsteen, Vince Guaraldi. There's so many great classic rock songs and Christmas tunes you just don't get a chance to hear. We're doing a 2-hour special next Friday at noon and 8. Damon Johnson's Christmas Eve Rockin' Extravaganza. The big special is going to be going on next Friday. Make sure you listen today, though, at noon and 8. You're going to hear Dolly Parton on this radio station. I'm going to listen just to see how far I may drive off the road. I love it. Tony Kurre Radio, good morning. It's Friday. It's the Kurre Klapow Show. Dr. Josh is going to be off the rest of the year. He's over, actually, I think he's still in a stinking airport. You couldn't pay him. Listen, he's going to see his boy. I certainly understand it's worth every challenge you've got to get there, but you could not pay me to be in an airport right now. But congratulations to his boy, who's doing fantastic over there at the University of Oxford, and Josh will be out pretty much for the rest of the year. And so I'm going to be flying solo. We're going to get after it, man. We got some great classic rock and roll news we're going to get into in just a few minutes. I had a lunch yesterday with Michael Coleman from the Jimmy Hale Mission, and I love that dude. We just had a great time. We broke some bread, had some great stories, and did some laughing yesterday, and they're one of our proud sponsors here of Tony Kurre Radio, jimmyhalemission.org. It's a wonderful organization. I've known them since 1988. They've been around for over 75 years. Warm meals, warm beds. They're going to take care of that when it starts to cool off again on Saturday night. They're there for you. But if you want to use the Jimmy Hale Mission for what its purpose is, and that is to make you the person that God created you to be the best version of yourself, they're going to help you mentally, physically, vocationally, spiritually. They got you covered up. If you really want to make that move in your life, and we know that 90% of the people that go through Jimmy Hale Mission have some type of addictive property, they'll help you there too. That's the place to go. It is super tough right now around the holidays because a lot of people find their vices, not being judgmental at all, but if you're one of those people that just can't handle it, maybe you love to drink, you're just not very good at it. We'll have the Jimmy Hale Mission at your call anytime you need it. jimmyhalemission.org. You go to our website, tonykurreradio.net, tonykurreradio.net. There's a donation button right there at the top of the page. Click that bad boy, and $5 a week will make the difference of a woman, a man, or a child in our area. And I didn't pick the song because of that, but it's a little early for whiskey at 7:45 in the morning, but it is a great Van Halen song. Tony Kurre Radio. Tony Kurre Radio, your home for the Kurre and Klapow Show. If you've been listening the last 5 or 6 weeks, you know we've been getting into all these unique programs, stuff we've been working on for over 2 years. We have, of course, the Dark Side of the Pooch Show, which goes off on Mondays. It is Dr. Rab Stewart from the Rossbridge Animal Hospital at noon and 8. On Tuesdays, Adapter Parish with Adaptogens Dr. Alex Hubline and Dr. Josh Klapow. We have a lot of doctors on this radio station. I surround myself with good resources just to make me look better. Well, seriously, we got like 6 or 7 damn doctors right now, don't we? That show's a great show about success and how you must adapt in business or else you're screwed. You perish, you die. That's at noon and 8 on Tuesday. Livewire Wednesday brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing for all your staffing needs. Construction otherwise. Kai Gregory and his staff. I love these folks. They've been with us now for over a year. They are killing it. They're here for you to kick off 2022. 205-682-2828. 205-682-2828. Your handshake and your word still means something. Thank goodness. They're right here in Hoover, Alabama. They serve the United States of America just like Tony Curry Radio does. That happens on Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock. Blues Almighty. In celebration of Austin Hanks and Billy Gibbons' birthday yesterday. He turned 72, right? They had a great show at the Troubadour last night. We did Austin show, Blues Almighty at noon and 8, and, of course, the Damon Johnson show later on this afternoon tonight, noon and 8. We got all these specialized programs. So the Kurre and Klapow show, what's going to happen with that? We've been doing that every morning for about 6 years. We got some changes coming there, too, in January. Some exciting news coming up. So make sure you listen up here on the Tony Curry Radio app, and we'll get you all covered up right here on Tony Curry Radio. Tony Curry Radio, your home for the Kurre and Klapow show, 7:30, 9:30 every Monday through Friday morning. Then again from 6 until 8 at nighttime. And, of course, our Damon Johnson Day. It's Damon Johnson Friday here at noon and 8. His top 6 bands that aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's a doozy in there. There's one I was like, I agree. She should be in. It just don't fit this radio station. That's what I love about it. Today is National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. I got some ugly Christmas sweaters from like when I was in high school, and now they're ugly again. See, that's why you don't get rid of clothes. Now they're just trying to make them ugly as all out. We actually had the real ugly sweaters, remember? Also today, Pope Francis turns 85. I'd wash his feet and kiss his ring right now if he was here. Coming from a good little Catholic boy. Happy birthday to Pope Francis, 85. And Paul Rogers, who is 72 years old today. We have made a lot of talk about him. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame obviously has not recognized Bad Company as a band that they believe is good enough to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't get it. And if anything else, I can make an argument you should put Paul Rogers in first and then put Bad Company in. Because Paul has done so many great pieces of work, everything from Free to The Firm to Bad Company. Man, there was a time where Bad Company was just, they could write anything and kill it. You may hear some Paul Rogers and some Bad Company later on this afternoon tonight on the Damon Johnson show. And he turns 72 today. John Mellencamp, who's done quite a bit of classic rock himself, called Paul Rogers' voice the greatest rock and roll singer ever. And you can make an argument. I don't think you could debate that. And then one guy who everyone tries to emulate. Everyone says, I wish I could sing like him. Everyone wishes and thinks I can sing like him, but they can't. Freddie Mercury at one point said that Paul Rogers had one of the greatest rock voices of our time. That coming from Freddie Mercury, you know you got something going on pretty good there, right? Paul Rogers, a happy birthday to you. Turned 72 today right here on Tony Curry Radio. We mentioned the Eagles brought in a cool $60 million. Like a half an hour, and they made like $600 million. God, we love our classic rock, don't we? Tony Curry Radio. Get the Tony Curry Radio app. Join the tens of thousands of folks all over the world who are rocking like a big bad dog, rocking to the bone on the Tony Curry Radio Network. We're super proud of it. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a great classic rock app. And you're like, I get classic rock anywhere. Yeah, you can get a meal anywhere, too. It's not something you always want to eat. You can go to any restaurant. You want the good stuff? We'll set the table for you. 24 hours a day. Great classic rock and roll. The Tony Curry Radio app. It's free. Takes you about 5 or 10 seconds. iOS or Apple, whatever you got. Android, I don't care. Get the Tony Curry Radio app. We're huge on weekends. People love to be raking leaves, getting ready for the holidays, doing shopping. We got some great stuff coming up, by the way. Damon Johnson Fridays at noon and 8 for an hour. He does a theme. Today it's the top 6 bands that aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You'll hear some Dolly Parton on Tony Curry Radio later on this afternoon at noon and 8 o'clock later on tonight. Then next Friday, it's going to be Christmas Eve. We're working. It's going to be Damon's Rockin' Christmas Eve Special. 2 hours of your favorite Christmas tunes. And these are like the Kinks' Father Christmas, Billy Squier, Christmas is a Time to Say I Love. These are the songs you don't get a chance to hear on the radio. during the Christmas holidays. Listen, I love me some Frank Sinatra, some Dean Martin, some Mele Kalikimaka. I love the Marshmallow. I love all that stuff too. Came from my generation, and we'll play some of that too. But we're going to play some classic rock Christmas tunes, some James Taylor. We'll do some Bob Seger, play some killer classic rock Christmas tunes. The Damon Johnson Rockin' Christmas Eve Extravaganza. It's going on next Friday at noon and 8 right here on Tony Curry Radio. So you're unwrapping your gifts, or maybe you're wrapping some stuff up for Santa Claus, helping them out a little bit before Christmas Eve. Make sure you listen again on the Tony Curry Radio app, and that's Curry with a K, Tony Curry Radio. Check it out. Also, coming up on the 23rd, on December 23rd, Damon Johnson is doing his second annual holiday hangout. Go to damonjohnson.veeps, that's VEEPS.com. DamonJohnson.veeps.com. DamonJohnson.veeps.com. He's going to be doing his holiday hangout live. He'll be streaming it on the 23rd, and then it'll be available for about another 6 or 7 days at DamonJohnson.veeps.com. So we got that going on. By the way, people checking in, Brian and Ricks, good morning to you. You may notice, look at my eye here. See this crap right here? See all that crap? The Me Too movement hit the Curry household last night. I got a 9-year-old daughter who I love to tease and have a good time with. She was under the covers, and I was kind of tickling her. I was kind of grabbing some spots around the neck and back around the butt side. And bam! Taekwondo my ass right in the, and I was like, dude, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I got me a damn shiner. First time I've had a black eye in my life. And I was like, dude, 2 more inches to the right, you would have hit my nose. I would have bled to death. You hit this nose right here, there's going to be, we could do some blood transfusions. We're going to lose like a couple of gallons of blood out of that nose. The Me Too movement hitting the Tony Curry household last night. Speaking of last night, too, I want to wish a happy birthday to Austin Hanks and Billy F. Gibbons. Those 2 guys are in a band called the Big Bag Blues Band, excuse me, which, of course, is a incarnation, if you will, of just great blues music. I think he played a couple songs last night. He played this one song called Flying High. Which was co-written by Austin Hanks on the Blues Almighty show. It's another one of these great shows we do every Monday through Friday night at noon and 8. It's an hour of all blues music. It is absolutely killer. If you love classic rock, when you think about the blues, you think of Muddy Waters and Buddy Guy, Buddy Rich. You think about, Robert Johnson, and they're great. But he gets into Stevie Ray Vaughan, Driving and Crying, Jason the Scorchers, plays a lot of the stuff from ZZ Top's Billy Gibbons' Big Bad Blues Band. It's a fantastic show. I mean, I love that show. Sometimes I listen to it twice. It's fantastic. And he plays songs in the show that I've never heard before, but I'm like, I'm adding that. Every single week, there's like 10 more songs I want to add to Tony Curry Radio because I'm like, that's killer. That needs to be heard. It's fantastic. Check it out. That happens on Blues Almighty Thursdays with Austin Hanks. Happy birthday to Austin. And, of course, Billy, who turned 72. They had a fantastic show at the Troubadour last night in West Hollywood. I would have given anything to be at that show last night. I told him Tony Curry Radio is going to be broadcasting live at that show a little bit later on coming up. So there's your show notes. And we also had Livewire Wednesday on Wednesday. Adaptogents, Adapter Parish, which is a great business show. I can't believe that we run a business show here on a classic rock station. But listen, I'm 55. I'm a business owner. I need to learn too. If you're not adapting, you're perishing, dude. You're dying. Check that show out with Adaptogents, Dr. Alex Hubline and Dr. Klapow on Tuesdays. And then Dark Side of the Pooch in the $10 billion industry we know as pet care with Dr. Reb Stewart from the Rossbridge Animal Hospital. I want to do a little public service. I like to keep it light. It's Friday. I saw this story yesterday. Let me tell you something, man. I got to do the Instagram. I got to do the Twitter. I got to do the Facebook, and I'm on the LinkedIn thing. I'm not a big TikTok person because it's just outside my realm of possibilities. It's just too short. It's crazy. I understand the allure of it. I understand how young people love it, and it's huge, and it's great, and I have no problem. And from a social media standpoint, I do have an issue with the government getting involved from the standpoint of saying, well, Instagram is causing this, Facebook is causing that. If us as a society, as people, are so stupid to be influenced by something we see on social media, then that's on you. You understand what I'm saying? And I know there's big, fat, pregnant women with basset hound groups on Facebook, and that's great. If you want to feel special and you're insecure and you need to have a special group for just you so you know other people in your group, and I understand I'm in therapy, I get all that stuff and how that works and support groups, I get that. But if you read something and you're gullible enough to believe it and do it, then that's on you. Now, these platforms don't help us. We know algorithmically, we know analytically, they nudge us in different areas that we don't want to, and we know that vile vitriol crap sells better than praise the Lord kind of stuff, unfortunately. TikTok has got this gun challenge going on today, and I normally this kind of stuff doesn't bother me because I realize it's just a bunch of hooey, it's a bunch of crap, but this is really bothering me. My kids got out of school yesterday, and I'm kind of grateful for that. My 17-year-old goes to a pretty nice school here in Birmingham, and I had to bring it up this morning. And if you're a parent and you don't, and hopefully it's not too late, then that's on you. Bring your gun to school day. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? I mean, I like to think that I've raised my kids pretty well. We're super tight. Mom does a great job too, so I know we're good. But you never know about other kids. You just don't. The law enforcement agencies have investigated the threat, which has become a challenge on TikTok, telling students to bring guns to school. It originated in Arizona and is not credible. They've deemed the threat to be fake. And I'll tell you this now, if there is a platform out there that is talking to our youngsters who ain't always there, they ain't always really smart. You know, we're going through COVID and all this crap, and things have been kind of weird. There's a lot of anxiety and ADD going on with our kids and depression and things like that. Nothing's a threat at this point. Nothing's fake. Nothing's a threat. Anytime you give an impressionable 11, 12, 13, 17, 9-year-old any ideas, it's not a threat. It's a real deal. We've had 32 school shootings in 2021. 32. 32 school shootings where someone was either shot, killed, or assaulted. We only had 10 last year, and that's because we were in a frickin' pandemic. Hell, I can't believe we had 10. The schools were closed. What the hell, were they just shooting up empty hallways? 32 school shootings this year alone. And to have something out, I know TikTok is investigating, but by the time the cat is out of the bag, it's too late. Andy Morgan, good morning to you. By the time it gets out, it's too late. It's too late. And so as parents, and I have a 9, a 14, and a 17-year-old, we got to do our homework, man. You got to read. I mean, I hate to say this, but you got to get on the TikToks. You got to get out there and read information. And I'm not a helicopter parent. Hell, my parents never came to school one time in my 12 years at school. They never had lunch. I loved them. We just didn't do that. You know, we had a box with a pencil and a protractor and some crayons. That's all we came to school with. Now it's like $600 later. We're doing Purell. And that's great. I think our schools are better for it. But as parents, we've got to be cognizant of what our kids are hearing and doing on social media and what they're doing at their school. We can help end this stuff. We can have all the security and all the deputies we want in schools, but it's not going to stop kids from learning and doing stupid shit from TikTok or from social media platforms because they're impressionable. And as a parent, I'm thinking to myself, my son would never do that. Hell, we just had a kid shoot up a joint where his mom and dad gave him the gun. A 15-year-old gave him a pistol for an early Christmas gift. Who does that? Shooting gun, hunting gun, I get it. BB gun, Red Ryder, Christmas Story, I get it. A revolver? A pistol to a 15-year-old? Are you kidding me? So my 17-year-old gets up this morning, and I didn't want to be that parent, but you know what? I'm going to be that parent because I want to see his ass come home at 3:40 this afternoon. And I don't care how affluent you are, what kind of school you go to. It doesn't have to be an inner city or rural or whatever. Any type of school your kid goes to, there's always going to be some bad nuts and some kids that are having a tough old time. And I'm telling you, a kid who's 14 and wants to shoot up a place ain't right in the head. And parents need to see that before it happens. That's what we're here for. That's what parents do. Get to know your kids, look through their phone. Listen, I've never wanted to look through my kid's phone. I don't want to find out what they're doing. I don't want to follow them. I don't want to track them. I don't get a GPS them. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to protect your kid. And not only that, and I tell my kid, he started driving, I said, listen, I'm not worried. This is the best thing to say to your kid, even if your kid's a lousy driver. I ain't worried about your driving. Don't worry about other people. Pay attention to your driving. Nobody else in the car. Pay attention to your driving. I ain't worried about you. I'm worried about the other idiots out there. All right? So I hope you got a chance to talk to your kids about it. And if you didn't hear about this, you should have. As a parent, you should know about these things. Why don't you know about it? I knew about it 3 days ago. I knew it was going to be today. And again, regardless of whether it's a threat or a hoax, it is a threat because we're giving kids these ideas. Some dumbass kid is going to take a gun to class today to prove to his classmates, and he's going to be super insecure. He's going to prove to his classmates that he brought a pistol to school. I guarantee it. God willing, I'm praying that no one gets hurt today. But we got to know this as parents, man. We've got to stop looking the other way and blaming it on social media and saying, well, you know, there's all this crazy stuff going on. What happened to the Ice Bucket Challenge? Can we do fun stuff and raise money for a worthy cause? Instead, we're doing challenges? Who's starting this crap? It makes me sick. It pisses me off. It really does. It pisses me off that people are so sick in the head and they think it's funny. It's not funny. The whole whacking the teacher in the back of the head thing that was happening a couple of months ago. What is wrong with us, man? What's wrong with our kids? It's you. It's the parents. We're raising these kids. I didn't raise my kid to think it's funny to go smack a superintendent in the back of the head with a book. I mean, what are we doing? I don't get it. But we got to nip it in the bud, bro. And we as parents can do that. And I know, because I was 17 too, I had 2 brothers and a sister, and we did stupid shit when we were around our friends. I never did anything stupid when I was alone. I was a good boy. I was a Catholic boy. I was an altar boy. I was the flag raiser. I did everything. I kissed everyone's butt, man. I was a pleaser. My teachers loved me. But, man, when I got around my classmates, I was so insecure. I was a dweeb. I mean, I got pimples on my face. I was working Kentucky Fried Chicken. I never got laid. I didn't get laid till I was 22. And so I was doing anything to get anybody in school to like me. And if that means bringing a pistol to school, I probably would have done it. And I was a good kid. So imagine what your kid's doing today. So I talked to my 17-year-old. I said, what's going on? I said, you know about this? He goes, yeah. I said, why didn't you talk to me about it? Well, I didn't think it was a big deal. I said, you don't think it's a big deal? You don't think it's a big deal? We got 32 shootings in school. He's like, no, I just figured, I know my class. I said, do you really know your classmates? Do you really know your classmates just because you go to soccer games with them on Friday nights on campus? It's like our neighbors. Dr. Josh talks about this all the time. We don't know our neighbors like we think we do, brother. They're doing things. We do things. We have skeletons in the closet we don't tell anybody about because we keep it in and the shades are down. No one sees it. Neighbors the same way. You think and listen, I'm not being cynical because I love everybody and I get to know everybody. I have great relationships with all my neighbors and my kids and my son. That's the other thing too as parents. You got to know your kids' friends, man. It ain't like it was when we grew up. If you're 45, 55 years old, Will Raines, good morning to you. We used to know everybody that our kids played with. My mom and dad knew every kid I knew and every kid I went out with. Hell, all the way through college because they were all in the neighborhood. 8 o'clock in the morning, kids are off school today. They're like, what are we doing today? I'm like, I don't know. What are you doing today? Go dig a hole. Go find China. Start digging. Take your bike, turn it upside down, and make mud pies. Go get busy. Go outside. But they can't do that anymore because there's not kids in neighborhoods anymore. We're moving different neighborhoods. You used to have kids like there was like 16 different kids in my neighborhood that were all my same age. We all rode the bus together. We all got together. It was great. But I'll tell you one thing. The dumbest things I ever did was when I was around my friends. When boys particularly, when boys get around other boys, forget about it. And if your parent going, well, yeah, boys will be boys. No. We live in a different world, man. That ain't normal anymore. It's different. It's different now. And not all kids are like that. 99% of kids are good, but it only takes that 1% to screw it up for the rest of us. So, and when your kid gets home today, or they have a phone, could you imagine if your mom could have texted you when you were in school? Holy crap. That would have been terrible. I'm bringing your lunch money. You forgot your peanut butter sandwich. Take care of your babies. Be a parent. Get in their face a little bit. Find out what's going on because they ain't going to tell you. They're not going to, this is like sex education, but it's with guns. They're not going to tell you what's going on. Hey, you're not going to believe what I learned today. You take a penis, they're not going to share that with you. They're embarrassed. So get in their face a little bit. Get to know them a little bit. Don't be their friend, be their parent. Don't be their friend, be their parent. When parents are friends, that's when you're like 45 or 50. I used to go to Vegas with my dad every year. He was always my dad first, and then a little bit of friend. But there's still things that I would never talk to my dad about as a friend. Don't be friends with your kids. Be parents to your kids. Take care of your kids. They need you. They want you. Kids crave discipline. They love that. When you talk to your kid about taking guns to school on a stupid, dumbass TikTok challenge, they appreciate that. They don't think you're a helicopter parent. They don't think you're an idiot. They don't think you're overwhelming or overwhelmed by anxiety or anything else about what's going on. They don't see that worry. They think you care. And they love that. They love that. And I told my boy, I said, look around a little bit today. Just be careful. Stick to your group. Just be safe. We live in a different world now. Like anything else. I mean, how many times do we have to see people on television going, man, I never thought it would have happened to me? How many times do we have to see that? Whether it's COVID, whether it's gun shooting, tornadoes, whatever. People are like, I never thought in a million years it would happen to my family. That's what's happening. So be careful. And keep the faith, man. Be hopeful and keep the faith. And the most important thing is pray. That's what I do. Pray, 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 pray works. Maybe if we all prayed together one time, maybe we could solve some problems in this country of ours, or this world of ours. It's a beautiful world, though. It's great. God give us the day to live, and we're getting after it, man. All right, 9:09 here on the Kurre and Klapow show. You can listen again later on tonight from 6 until 8. Then at 8 o'clock tonight, it's going to be the Damon Johnson show. I do this show with Damon Johnson. Top 6 bands that are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We come up with the themes. And by the way, you can go to TonyCurryRadio.net, TonyCurryRadio.net. That's Curry with a K. And leave your emails. Become a bonehead, because we're classic rock the bone. And let me know some show ideas for Damon Johnson. Next Friday night and next Friday afternoon at noon and 8, we're going to be doing Damon Johnson's Rockin' Christmas Eve special. It's going to be 2 hours of killer classic rock Christmas music. It's going to be great, so check it out. I think you're really, really going to like it.